It's just absolutely been a blast. But I like that number right there. You should put Aiden picture right next to that.
There you go.
Instead.
8 days away.
8 days away. Yeah, it's absolutely wild that we're here, but let's do it.
Where's your head at, just real quick, because obviously you're very in tune with Iowa State, being from Iowa State fan on the side too. So just where are your emotions at right now?
Through the roof. Like, I don't know if anybody can match the level I'm feeling unless you're a player yourself right now. It's so weird having worlds collide. Like I tweeted out the other day, it's awesome. And I'm very excited. This is a game, not to get too emotional, but this is a game that Grandpa Larry was looking forward to very much. And knowing that I'm bringing 21 family members to this game, renting a 15-passenger bus, or cargo van. So pray for me a little bit, but it's just one of the most surreal moments I've had.
That's awesome. The fact that you guys have made it an entire family event, that's fantastic. Oh, yeah. And you just, it's got to be like Christmas morning for you. It's going to be absolute blast on Saturday. So
I won't be sleeping.
Can't wait to hear afterwards too, and dissect this game and just get the raw emotion from you. But here we go. So right off the bat here, got to show Coyote Nation. We have an official team picture that came in this week. And I don't know if do you remember them releasing a team photo like this every year? I don't know if I recall that.
I'm guessing they've taken the photos like this, but they've never actually like shared it. Honestly, right. Personal favorite is my boy wearing number C, front and center.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, that's my dog. I don't know who that is, but I thought it was pretty comical that he was right there.
I noticed that too. I was kind of wondering what was going on there, but no. So you got the team picture, and then we also had the 2 deep released. And so we finally, we've been talking about this for weeks, but we finally get to see who the 5 starting offensive linemen are going to be. Mm-hmm. And so that's solidified, at least going into the game. Now we may see some changes as the game goes. I'm not sure, but we know who the 5 are going to roll out on that first drive. And then just one other position we want to call out here. How about that stud or that star linebacker spot? You got your boy Matt Walsh.
I'm so happy for him. I will say he was actually my first player on this roster that I actually interacted with. He was the one that I just happened, my daughters wanted to take a picture with a football player. He was on the edge. I just said, hey, can we grab a picture quick? And it's still, is a moment that stands out to me because his parents were there and they came all the way. I think he's from Illinois, if I remember correctly. But they traveled all the way over for that game. And his mom's reaction is just, oh my, how moms get when they get to see their kids growing up like that. But it's such a good kid, and I'm so excited to see the work he's put in on special teams, on all 4 special teams, to be able to be now not just on the 2 deep but starting. It's huge for him.
Right. And then just one other call out. You do have a couple of transfers that come in and are now in starting roles. Tight end Dallas Holmes. Left tackle, you got Almarian Krim, center Wyatt Lawson, and at right tackle, Brock Wolf. And then the 2 Iowa boys on the defensive line there, Caden Crawford, Jeff Bowie. Who else do we have here working down the list? I think that's it for transfers. We do have a handful there in starting roles, so can't wait to see what those guys can do as well. We know we're familiar being fans of this show, and the fans that are being the guys on the show and the fans that listen to our show. They know these other names. Coyote Nation knows those names, but those handful there, can't wait to see what those guys can do, not only this game, but as the year goes. So anything else on the 2 deep?
Yeah, I do want to add, I know there was a lot of shock when it first came out, but the Coyote fans that have been following back to back really know this wasn't much of a shock. But when you look at Lorenzo Fenner overtaking Javion Phelps in the starting role, it definitely grabs some people's attention, and it is not a slight at Javion Phelps at all. He is going to get his minutes. He's going to get his snaps. He will 100% starter snaps, in my opinion. But Lorenzo Fenner is just a name I've been hearing for the last 2 years. And for him to step up, he's finally got a role. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch what he can do, what he can actually accomplish.
Yeah, and we've heard his name several times this spring, coming up, making play after play. So, yeah, definitely looking for special things from him, but also, hey, big play Javion. There's definitely a role for him here as we saw him carve up NDSU last year, and some other games too. He's had some big catches. So definitely, these guys are all going to get the ball. But as Aiden slings it around, but yeah, I can't wait to see this. And then just I guess on the back end too, Jake, you've got Mikey Munn switching positions from safety to corner.
Roman and him swapping.
Yeah, and then so Roman switches from corner to safety. And then you've got the young punk there, RJ Stewart. How about that? Redshirt freshman earning that starting spot at the other corner spot.
And I actually have some comments that I will save for the show when we get into the Iowa State stuff, that it'll be an interesting matchup on that corner side.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what up, Yote fan? Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate you as always.
I mean, we got a full crew going on tonight. That's for sure. So if anybody's got any surprises that they saw on it that we might have missed, feel free to shout them out. Any names that you're excited to see out there, I mean, that's going to be a big one. The only other name I'll add, and then we can flip over on, keep an eye at this right linebacker position, RLB, with Niall Dickel and Nathan LePerry. I've heard some big things from both of them, and with Nathan being a transfer in from North Texas, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Look at that size. They are definitely going to be trying to, I think, utilize both these guys as what we did with Mikey's Grace. And you know how well we worked him into the system. I could see some big things out of those two.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure where Nathan was going to land as far as was he going to be, defensive lineman or kind of be that rush linebacker spot there. I'm excited too. I agree because I think there's a lot of potential there. And Niall Dickel, he's just kind of slowly earned his role and carved out a nice role for him. He had a lot of minutes last year too, so can't wait to see him in that spot.
All right,
let's do it. Let's jump right in here. We've got on Fox, 2:30 p.m. national television, the Yotes and the Clones. Mm-hmm. The Yotes are going white helmet, white jersey, red pants. Jake, I haven't seen, has Iowa State released their uniform combo yet?
They haven't, but rumor has it they might be throwing some black on the field, so we'll see.
All right.
Yeah, but no, 2:30 at Fox, big time, absolutely huge, and it's so great to be able to not only be on television for 2 games this year, but not having to rely on our rivals to hold us to getting us on TV. So, I mean, that is huge.
Absolutely. Great exposure for the university, for this team, program, fans, everybody. And I know we've got a good amount of fans going to this game. And so can't wait to see all of Coyote Nation at tailgate and in the stadium there. But we're going to jump into the preview section now. Yeah. And there's no better way, Jake, to do this than to bring in your guy.
Absolutely.
Tyler Carter and Believe in Iowa State. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Let's see if his video loads in. Oh, man. Of course. He'll jump back in here in a second. So we'll see if we can get him
as soon as he showed up, he's gone.
Let's see. There we go. Welcome, Tyler.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. No worries. Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm so glad. Well, we were talking. This has been like a year plus in the making.
It really has.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man, so I gotta ask, you can see his socials up here, but you're everywhere. I mean, you're on TikTok, your YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. I mean, you're everywhere, buddy.
Yeah, man. We're trying to increase our presence. We have been in the podcast game for over a year now. We rebranded ourselves. So we do football and basketball. And we want to be in that algorithm for all the other Iowa State podcasts that are out there.
Yeah, and from what you shared, not just with me, but also on Twitter before, you're ranking really well with sports podcasts in Iowa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we are a top 15 sports podcast in the state of Iowa, and then just for overall, we're top 40 in the state of Iowa at number 39 for our most overall listened to. Thanks, nice. Man. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. So yeah.
And I have one more question on that, Jake and Tyler. So are you part of a bigger network? Because I see you got FanDuel and then you've got the Believe. Is that part of a bigger national network?
Yeah, Believe is the national network that is on there. Believe has like hundreds of other podcasts with college teams and pro teams.
Okay.
So yeah, we're sponsored by FanDuel. We were like once like when we were doing March Madness stuff, we were sponsored by man, what is the online one? My bookie. And then
Oh yeah.
we found out like right before we were recording, I'm like, oh, we're now presented by FanDuel. Awesome. So
That's
like
awesome.
yeah, like I was like, okay, that was an amazing opportunity. So basically every time we do our shows, we usually we'll take a look into the betting lines for each game, and that's how we do it. How we
Perfect.
do our shows. So
I was gonna say we're degen enough. We look into the lines anyway,
right.
so
I think we
we'll
actually
sneak that in
sprinkled those in
quick.
this show, so I can't wait to get to that as well.
Well, there you go.
All right. So real quick for Yote fans, we do have the tailgate spot. The Yote Fund putting this together for us, starting at 10:30 a.m. Food at 11 and up until kickoff at 2:30 on the southeast corner, spot number 26. For those of you that are joining at the tailgate, Jake, I think you're going to be on the north end. Is that right?
Yes. So up in the northeast, you got that you got that green spot on the field or northeast corner of the stadium there. I'm in that parking lot right next to it. So that's where we'll be hanging out. I'm hoping I'm going to see a lot of Yote fans. I am sneaking the flagpole in, and there'll be a Coyote flag flying in that parking lot. So if you see it high, you stop by and say hi.
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
did not
All
mean
right.
to rhyme.
And I think we have, there's over 500 registered for the tailgate. And I know USD has sold over 800 tickets through the school. But we're estimating, Jake, at least 1,000. I'm thinking maybe 1,200 to 1,500 by the time you figure everybody that's bought tickets outside of, the school.
Well, and here's the thing, too. I wouldn't be shocked if it does get somewhat close to that 2,000 range. I know a lot of Cyclone fans that are kind of coming out like, yeah, I graduated from USD, showing up on Twitter and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the crowd reaction is. A lot of Iowa players went to USD. So, you're going to have a lot of families that are coming in as well to support them too.
Yeah. And, this is a good, we talked about this weeks ago, but a good opportunity for Coyote Nation because it's not that far to travel. And we did expect a pretty strong showing at this one. So I can't wait to be part of that. Jake, this will only be my second time in a P4 stadium. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that too, because this has been on my bucket list to get to Ames. So I do get to check that one off the list. And then go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, right, Tyler, they replaced both screens this year with the new sound system.
They did. They replaced both screens. The south end zone is the one that they replaced. And the north end zone, they did some they did some more other renovations to that. But yeah, it's going to be a nice sound system this year. And there's going to be a little bit of an old school flavor. Jake, I don't know if you remember, I believe it was like in the 80s where they had that helmet car?
Oh, of course I do. Yeah.
They're bringing it back, baby.
I saw that. That's so wild. Now, I'm going to give them a hard time on it, though, because why couldn't we just do the Cyclone script on the helmet?
You had it right there, and you used Block Eye State, and I'm like, why?
Exactly.
You love that script. All right, so tickets, guys. There's obviously resale. There's a bunch out there still. Coyote fans, if you're looking last minute, ticket prices are. I've kind of been watching them all week. They kind of were down yesterday, and I see today they're kind of back up a little bit. But sellout, right? Tyler, Iowa State announced today. AD Pollard announced it was a sellout.
There's a sellout. Last time I checked, there was like 90 or so tickets left, so those tickets are probably gone now. Yeah, it is officially a sellout.
I wasn't sure what to expect, Jake, because obviously it's their home opener, coming back from Ireland and everything, and obviously Iowa State fans travel well. We know that, and I figured they were going to get up for this one, being the home opener. But I wasn't expecting a sellout for a game against an FCS opponent. I'm not going to lie.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, sorry. I think it's really because everybody is juiced up from last week's win over K-State.
I could believe that.
Yeah, I honestly thought I think that's what it was. Because honestly, there would have been so much because if imagine if we lose that game and we come on the other side of it, everybody would have nervous energy, and yeah, the tickets sales probably wouldn't have been as good. It still would be a good crowd, but it'd be a very, very nervous crowd. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, this is Iowa State's first sellout that's either not a Big 12 matchup or a in-state Iowa team. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
At least since they bowled it in, I should
say. Right.
So yeah, I mean, fantastic. I'm excited. Heck, maybe we got 5,000 Coyote fans coming, filling it up for you guys.
Say, maybe there's a few more coming out of the woodwork. You never know. They might just slowly pop up out of those cornfields and show up in Ames.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's go.
All right, let's get to the meat. Oh, okay, yeah.
We have to talk this, guys, and this is for Tyler too, because there's connections galore in this game. So we'd be not doing our due diligence here if we didn't talk about the connections between Iowa State and USD, because there's a bunch. So right off the bat, Coach Rosie, man, we love Coach Rosie, and he guest on this show, friend of the show. And obviously he was at Iowa State for a handful of years there, assistant director of scouting. He moves over to the Yotes and does scouting work, and then now he's recently promoted to general manager.
Yep.
Oh.
So love Coach Rosie. Jake, anything you want to say about Coach Rosie other than just thank you, because he's been a huge help to us here on the show as well.
I mean, he's a huge reason why I have confidence going into this season with the way he recruited through the portal. I know it's not just him, but his ability to spot talent quickly and build a relationship. He's why I have confidence when I threw out the 11-1 prediction.
Yeah, and you notice it. The injection of talent, it just keeps getting better every year. That the longer he's here with us, the more and more that talent increases. And man, I love Coach Rosie and just can't say thank you enough for what he's done for USD.
Quit advertising him so people don't have to look at him.
All right, we'll go quickly to the next one. How about this one? Aiden Bauman.
Yes, sir.
The return to Ames and where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he burned his COVID year and his redshirt year in Ames before coming to Vermilion.
He did.
Correct. Yep.
So, and I don't know if you guys listened to Matt Campbell speak this week, but he had some really nice things to say about Aiden and his family. And I've got one of the quotes up there on the screen for folks to read. But I do like that picture towards that top right with him and Rocco there. How about that?
That's quite the find. So, and it's one of those fun things that you can think about a little bit. Obviously, we love the scenario that it played out in. But, my question to you, Tyler, to think about a little bit, what if he held on for one more year and the Hunter Decker news came out? What does it look like now at Iowa State?
I mean, hey, who knows? Aiden Bowman probably would have. It depends, honestly, how either the spring practice would be or fall camp. But hey, we could have seen that. We could have seen a Rocco Beck versus Aiden Bowman quarterback competition and see who would have came out on top. That's the funny thing about these what if scenarios. That's
Yes.
I had to throw it out there.
Think about it is
That's an interesting one and one that would have been real fun to see. But man, are we glad that Aiden chose USD?
We're beyond blessed to have him. And I mean, just like Coach Campbell said, his family is fantastic too. I've had a chance to meet his dad, his mom, and his now wife. Just fantastic people and huge supporters of the Coyotes now.
Absolutely. And, we're not going to touch on this too much, but people have thrown out that whole revenge game thing, and Coach Johansson's kind of, he's really tamped that down this week in his interviews.
Right.
But, Aiden's he's going to come in locked in, maybe even a little more so than he usually is. So definitely excited to see that on Saturday. How about this one? The Ellens brothers.
Yeah.
You got Mason and Julius here. Obviously Mason, he's a cornerback or DB, and his older brother Julius here is a redshirt freshman running back for the Yotes.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that the high school that they go to is like literally right down the street from my house.
Oh, that's right. You're in Illinois, so Glen Ellyn, Illinois.
Glen Ellyn. I live in Wheaton, and that's like the town right over. So Glenbard West, especially living in this area of the Chicagoland area, I'm very, very Sorry, very familiar with the high school that they did because they were even good in high school when I was going to high school. So, yeah,
And you got one more Ellen's brother to watch still. If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
I was gonna say, are the Yotes and Cyclones fighting over the younger brother now?
probably. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be doubting it.
That's awesome. All right,
one more.
I've got one more for you here. We've got big Tyler Miller on the offensive line for the Cyclones, and Jesse over here at tight end for the Yotes, and obviously Tyler's a starter, and Jesse this year has a chance to do some real damage as well.
Yeah,
And
man.
You want to keep adding to it? Tyler was Aiden's roommate.
Yes.
At Iowa State.
Yes.
Wow.
A fun fact for Coyote Nation there. Kind of comes full circle, doesn't it?
It really does. I did not know this.
And Tyler, and to talk about these two, Jesse obviously just a redshirt sophomore, but then you got Tyler, who's a father of two.
Yeah.
It's just it's so much fun. I know there's a lot of families that are having fun with this leading into this game.
Speaking of having fun, this family is having fun with this. They've created a logo, they've created shirts, and they are going all out for this one. I love this. I think this is a really, really cool idea.
This is dope.
It's Miller time. How about that?
All right. Is it time to get to the meat and potatoes now?
It is. And before we do that, I want to give you guys one more thing, and that is just the series history. Jake, it's not pretty for the Yotes. It hasn't been pretty. Saturday will be the 10th time that we've played each other. Iowa State's 9-0 all time, sitting at 7-0 in Ames. Last meeting was in 1959 in Vermilion. The year before that, 58. They beat us 53-0 in Ames. And this is where it gets really rough, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
South Dakota has not scored a single point against the Cyclones in Ames in 7 tries.
That's wild.
That is wild.
But they ran away from us right when we started getting good in the 60s. So.
Oh, good Lord.
It's been a while, so I think we definitely get that monkey off our back. That's for sure. There's going to be some points scored at least.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna tee it up for you fellas, and then I'm gonna be quiet. So here's the matchup: FCS number 4 USD coming in against FBS number 22 Iowa State. Weather for the game 79, cloudy. Got just a little bit of a breeze out of the southeast at 5, and this is a payout game. So USD is going to be going home with $575,000 in the bank from this matchup. So just want to throw that out there as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to turn it over to you two to dive into this matchup.
All right. This is what we all came here for. Tyler, how would you like to do this? Would you like to talk Iowa State offense versus USD defense first, or vice versa?
We'll do vice versa.
Okay. So USD offense versus Iowa State defense.
Yes.
Now, is it all right if I come out with my hot take of the show right away to start?
Hey, it's your show.
Here we go.
Okay. So truly, I've done some diving in Iowa State. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for their future, what they have this season, the potential they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I did some looking into their opponents, and I have come to the conclusion now with them not facing Dylan Edwards against K-State, knocking them out of the game, the Yotes have the best running back they will face all season.
Ooh.
That's spicy. That's spicy.
Okay.
Yeah, Charles Pierre Jr., we go as he will go this season, along with Aiden obviously contributing quite a bit to it. But this kid is something special. I know the coaching staff worked very hard to make sure he stayed in Vermilion when that portal opened both times.
Okay.
Yeah, and what was he last year, Jake? 1,200 yards, I think, and that was with splitting with Tice.
Yeah, it was splitting with another 1,000-yard running back.
Yeah.
All right. But, of course, it doesn't help that he added the picture of the one person I'm scared of most.
Yes, talk about that.
Yeah, Big Citrus, he had a great game. He was eating up blocks. And obviously one of the narratives coming into this year for the Iowa State defense is, are they going to be able to stop the run? Mm-hmm. Now, you look at last week's game, and I mean, I was absolutely impressed by their run defense. I just think that the speed of this defense is so much faster than it was last year. You see when I was Joe Jackson coming up the middle to the ball, everybody was pursuing. Everybody was the linebackers coming up, the corners, the safeties were coming up and pursuing the football, only getting a boom. And then there was a few fourth down stops where where JMO came up on one. And then you had the linebackers coming up, just coming up in pursuit. And I know you guys are also replacing all your linemen on your offensive line. So I think that could be a possibility. Although he may be the best running back, we do have a lot of speed on this defense that I think that can get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think it poses the fantastic question. He very well might be the best running back, but what can the O-line do? And
exactly, yeah.
For the Coyote fans that looked up Orange's stats against K-State and felt very unimpressed,
yeah,
I'm going to tell you, this is the deal with the nose tackle for Iowa State is not sacks, shedding blocks.
Right.
It's to eat up blocks, correct, Tyler?
Yes, it's to eat up blocks. That's what man. That's what Luna did when he was here. And they're the guy who eats up blocks so that everybody else can go and rest the quarterback or go and pursue the runner. So yeah.
I mean, I watched multiple times where the center or guards tried to climb for K-State and had nowhere to go. And that, I mean, the 3-3 is such a wild defense because you think you can run on it.
Right.
For all reasons, you should be able to run on it.
Should be able to run on, yeah.
But with it, you're running right into the strength of Iowa State's defense. And that is not the D-line, but your linebackers.
Yes. And I think that was the key last week, and that was what was missing last season. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. As you know, Iowa State won 11 games. It's amazing now how that was a liability last year has now become a strength because now you have everybody in that room that has played snaps, like meaningful snaps at that position. Now you can just go and have different rotations of linebackers coming in on each player, maybe each drive, and you have depth at that position. So
didn't like your guys' headset communications guy even get a few snaps at linebacker? Isn't that how thin
he probably did. He probably did, especially in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah, it was wild how thin Iowa State got, and you guys, I mean, they got a ton of experience on it. But that leads into if you're going to pick a weakness, it's going to be the secondary. Am I not mistaken, Tyler?
Yeah, no, you as you saw last week, they did play pretty well. We do have some youth in the secondary that did have some blown coverages on 2 touchdown passes. We do have some youth back there. Although they did play pretty solid. I think that's stuff that can be coached, but that could be a possible issue if it happens again. But I am very confident in the young guys back there, Kajon Cummins Coleman, and guys like that. I still think that talent wise, they're still really good, but young.
And that's actually one of the matches I'm really excited to watch. Please pronounce his name again. I know the player. I just can't say his name.
Kajon Cummins Coleman.
Yes, thank you. So with Coleman, I'm just going to go to the last name on that last name. But the matchup between Coleman, obviously you guys rotate a lot, but Coleman and Fenner is going to be a fun one to watch. You got two young, super talented players. Coleman was brought in as was it a receiver or corner?
He was brought in as a corner, and then they moved him to safety, and then because of that, Jeremiah Cooper is now at corner now.
Yep. Yeah, so I guess it wouldn't be so much of Fenner dealing with him. It would be more Dallas Holmes and Jesse Miller on the tight end side, probably working with him since he's at the safety position. But there were some leaks in the secondary. You got, obviously, Coleman, but then you also have, is it Dieter?
Yeah, Carson Van Denter, yeah.
Vendenter, thank you. Who was a young walk-on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, number 36. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing: Iowa State rotates a ton of players, but there's two gaps right there that you did see happen. One where the ball was airmailed a little bit, but then 2 touchdowns on them. It was a bad rotation by both players.
Yeah.
It's definitely something on the film that stuck out.
Oh yeah.
For USD. But the tough part about the film against K-State, you kind of have to throw it out unless you're looking at just blocking schemes and shifts.
Right.
You had, how bad was it raining? Because you were there, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I was there. Boots on ground.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was in the enemy territory. I was sitting on the K-State side. So yeah, it was raining on and off, and then it just stopped raining in the second half. But yeah, it was very, very messy. I probably say the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game. You had the muff punt, and then Iowa State was in the red zone. They fumbled, then another fumble, and then the other interception. So yeah, turnovers.
Yeah, and the reason why I say you can kind of throw the film out in a sense is because Rain is the 12th defender on the field,
right?
Slop is the 13th, and
yes,
with it, what our offense is going to do, they're going to go simple, and that's usually running the ball.
Yep.
And I saw Iowa State stack the box very often. I did not see a lot of defenders outside of 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So that's, I think, is definitely a factor in the game, just having the extra defensive players, quote unquote, on there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake, before you guys flip it to the other side of the ball, I just want to say one thing is that I think this matchup, if you look at all the different positional groups and the different matchups as you guys are walking through them there, I think this game really hinges on our offensive line versus their defensive line, because they're going to have to hold their own, and we're going to have to stay somewhat balanced. Like, we're going to have to be able to run the ball in some regard, because we know, and Cout fans know, what our offense looks like. And so on that note, I'm looking forward to that matchup the most, because I think that's really where this game hinges. And if our offensive line can't hold their own, it's going to get ugly. If they can hold their own, this team will hold its own. And so for me, that's really the key matchup there. And, we believe in our guys. Obviously, we wear Coyote red glasses, but, and the talent is there. It's nothing against them, but you're facing a giant defensive line with Iowa State. And then the second factor is they've got one game under their belt. We have 4 new offensive linemen, haven't played together, so just haven't had a chance to gel and figure it out as a unit. And so that's where that's kind of where the question mark is. And we've talked about that all off season too. But in this game specifically, that's going to be a big challenge, and I am very curious to see how our guys handle that.
Yeah.
And I know one thing I wanted to add, at least from a Cyclone point. One thing for me that I'm looking for in the key to the game, one of the keys to the game for me is definitely, with this inexperienced offensive line, is getting a pass rush. Like, we were able to get coverage sacks, but I'd like to see if we were able to get a pass rush going, because I just feel like if we can't get a pass rush going now, like,
we might have lost him, and I know where he's going to go with this. I can fill in the blanks on this. If you still there, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, sorry, you glitched out a little bit there, going through.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It is what it is. That's the fun
live show, beauty of a live show.
Live shows, yeah.
Yeah, let him finish his thought there if he wants to.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just saying before that, I think what I was saying before is that one of the keys for us is to at least get a pass rush going, and I was saying if we can't get a pass rush going against an inexperienced offensive line, then now we're probably not going to get one at all this year, and I think that's going to be one of the keys to our season. So
exactly, yeah, and that's your interior O-line looks fantastic. It's the ends for Iowa State where there are a lot of question marks, and it's not so much that they don't have skills; it's they're unproven. And if USD can get their tight ends to clip on those ends, they might have an opportunity to bump and run up to the linebackers and create some opportunities on the edge.
Yep.
I could definitely see us running away from Orange, though.
Yeah, I don't see us having a ton of success running up the middle with Orange plugging up the holes and probably eating up 2 blockers there.
Now, Tyler, we're gonna have some fun with you here. Do you happen to remember the name Tyson Veit?
Yes.
I knew you would. It was a softball, but do you know where he's at now?
I'm watching the game. He's at Cincinnati. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Tyson Veit, and I have a direction here. Tyson Veit was a Cincinnati defensive coordinator. Our new cornerbacks coach studied under Tyson at Cincinnati and then came to USD. And what does Coach Veit run for a defense at Cincinnati?
The 3-3-5.
Ooh. Now, we know for a fact that when that lined up last season, Iowa State beat the doors off of Cincinnati. Like it really wasn't too close. So I don't know how much of a factor it is, but we do have a little bit of knowledge coming in on what could work against the 3-3-5. I know Coach Heacock's adding those wrinkles, but it's definitely something to think about a little bit.
Definitely for sure.
But it comes down to pass rush at the end of the day for Iowa State. If you don't get to Aiden, he is a brilliant quarterback who seldomly forces the ball. I don't think he's at double-digit interceptions in his career at Iowa State yet.
So he's a guy, he's a guy that takes care of the football, but he doesn't like to turn it over. So I mean, we're gonna have to get some. Like I said, this is key to get pressure on this guy and force him into some throws that he doesn't want to.
Well, and I mean, just like any game, if anybody says that the key to the game isn't in the trenches, they've never watched football in their life.
Yep.
It always is.
It always is, and I am confident in the transfers we brought in because every player that we lost to the portal that went to Cincinnati, to Duke, to Vanderbilt, those 3 guys are all starting in their positions at those colleges. And I mean, that's definitely like, hey, we know what we're doing. So feel confident in the fact that USC is going to put something on the field that is competitive and has an opportunity to go out and win games.
Yeah, and some of those guys were starters at their previous school, so it's not like they're, this is their first time, starting. So I do think there's going to be confidence there, from that aspect. So, and I think there should be confidence from the, from the team and the fans too. It's just for me, and it goes back to what I said earlier, it's just playing together as one unit. And you can only replicate and simulate so much in practice, and this will be the first time as a unit hitting a team in a different colored jersey. And so I'm just most curious to see how that unit as a whole works together.
I was going to make a comment and say still technically the same jersey, but Iowa State has to be special and wear their black ones.
Yeah, well, maybe we haven't found out yet.
Yep, we'll find out on that for sure.
I believe they're going to go red, red, white, but
yeah, okay, we'll see. Tyler, you got anything else you want to hit on the?
No. Let's move to the offensive side.
Okay, so the Cyclones have the football now. What can USD fans expect?
Come on.
Yeah, from Iowa State's offense.
So I will say you're going to see Iowa State want to have a semblance of a run game. You saw last week at the beginning of the game, they sort of struggled, but once the offensive line found their footing in the second half, they were just blowing people off the ball. And this is also one of my other keys to the game is to get the run game started early and often. If we can get our guys to push your guys' D-line off the line and get that run game going with Carson Hansen and maybe with a dose of Abu Sama, I think that's going to be tough. And then I think also for us is we use our tight ends a lot. You saw the tight ends be very, very involved in the offense. with Gabe Burke on that pop pass. You saw Benjamin Bramer get it in there. You saw Tyler Moore last week. You saw like 3 or 4 tight ends play last week. So I think be prepared to see a lot of tight end action. And also, hey, maybe once we get there, and then you'll see Rocco throw pass to our receivers. Our receiver room is pretty good too. It's underrated. You saw our young guys, Dom Overby and Brett Skilson, have touchdowns last week. So watch for those guys. But yeah, and then hey, maybe you see Chase Soul and Xavier Townsend have some action too. Obviously, they weren't really available last week, but I think it's also because they're still trying to get their foot again. Because I know that was a question that a lot of national people had, is how is this receiver room going to go? And hey, the receiver room looked okay last week. And obviously, yeah, the percentage 14 to 28 isn't good, but I really will like equate that to really mostly bad weather, and there were a lot of drops last week. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure you can count 4 or 5 drop passes that happen, but that also leads to having the young receiver core when your transfers weren't showing out. I know. What did Townsend even have a target?
I think he might have had like 1 or so.
Okay, and I know Soul had what, 2? I think
Soul had 2, and he dropped that one ball that he had.
Exactly, and I think that you brought up the tight ends. That's really, if I'm gonna do a different key besides trenches, it's gonna be Iowa State's tight ends and how we manage to take care of that, because Iowa State is not afraid to walk out 3 6'6", 250-pound tight ends.
Where do they keep finding these giant tight ends? Like year after year, it seems like, for the last handful of years.
Look, Taylor, our offensive coordinator was the former tight ends coach, Taylor Mauser.
Yep.
So he finds these tight ends everywhere, man. Benjamin Bramer, number 18, who you'll see a lot on Saturday. He's basically like a 6'7" wide receiver. So you're gonna see him. He could either be an in line, on the line, or he could be a guy that could be us. He's probably gonna be out wide with the other receivers. And then you have Gabe Burke, who came on, number 84. He's mostly the blocking tight end, but he came on as a receiving threat. And then you have the H-back, Keaton Roskup, number 85, who had a beautiful seal-off block, who you're definitely going to see help in the run game. So look for those guys to be involved in the offense.
Exactly. And I know the Iowa State Discord that we're together on, I said that if Iowa State doesn't have 20 targets towards their tight ends in this game, I don't think they're planning correctly.
Right.
Now, it's not to say that USD's defense isn't immune to facing these 6'7", 6'6" tight ends, because we have brought in guys. And I mean, I've heard directly when it comes to Dallas Holmes, some of the coaches have said, like, that is a P5 body tight end. He's 6'6", 250. We've had the opportunity to practice against him. And then our new tight end from West Virginia, Mitch is my name guy.
Yeah, Jackson Accardi.
Yeah, Accardi. Thank you. I struggle with his last name. He's 6'7", 245. So we definitely have the ability to practice, but we also just ran out of tight ends there. Our list gets pretty short after that on who are 6'6".
As far as that size goes, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So it's something that I'm going to be watching very closely. The good news is we got 2 linebackers that are absolute dogs that have played starter minutes or was a starter with Nate Ewell and Wade Abrams. They're both, I know Nate's down there around that 6'6'1", but Wade's a little taller. They're going to have to make sure that they knock them off their routes to really be a factor when Iowa State's in the passing situations.
Those guys, Jake, you just mentioned those 2, and even Gabe and Niall Dickel or whoever's in that kind of that star spot. Those guys are really going to be tested this week. They're going to be constantly put in conflict. And I'm assuming Iowa State, I don't know Iowa State that well, but I'm assuming they do a lot of play action too, or kind of the RPO stuff with Rocco. They're going to be put in a lot of conflict. And so on that side of the ball, that's probably where I'm going to be watching. I feel pretty confident in our D-line. You've heard Coach Johansson and other coaches talk about that all off season, that we have a really deep defensive line. So I'm not too worried about those guys, but that linebacking crew, oh my goodness, huge challenge for them on Saturday.
It is. And one play I'm going to call out that Iowa State runs, it's every game. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Tyler, but they run an RPO where Carson runs up the middle, Rocco looks off the safety, and if the safety bites on the run, he hits the slant on a receiver.
That is the Iowa State. It's been the staple.
It's the Iowa State way, huh?
It's the Iowa State way. They run that play like all the time. It's the Iowa State staple. But like watch for that.
I mean, it's something to definitely watch for. You don't know when it's coming exactly, but honestly, the only way to defend it is make the safety bite and drop your linebacker into coverage on that slant side. But it's always on the side Rocco's looking towards. He's never going to turn around and face the other direction to throw that. So it is one factor to watch on that. And you brought up Dom Overby, and I kind of want to jump over to the wide receivers game because really, I mean, we kind of know what we're getting with Mikey. He hasn't played a ton of snaps on the actual defense, but coverage on special teams, he did great.
Yeah.
But the matchup I'm actually most excited for is RJ Stewart versus Dom Overby. Ooh. You got two young guns that it's going to be fun to watch. Whenever I've heard something about RJ, it is that dude is an absolute freak. He was in. We had a fun little thing in the offseason, Tyler. We had a dunk contest. Mm-hmm. He won it, and it did not surprise me that he won it.
Oh, yeah. That kid's got major bounce in his step.
But going up against what is Dom? He's 6'4".
Yeah, remember like correctly. 6'4", yeah. 6'4".
Yeah, but 10.5 speed on the 100 meter.
It's insane speed, bro.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a matchup. It's, I mean, you can't ask for a better opportunity to test out your kids to see what you can do on the USD side. But it comes down to, it is going to come down to the trenches and being able to get Rocco uncomfortable. That's what the game's going to consist of. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of what he does. That dude is an absolute gamer. I don't know if there's any other quarterback in the country that I would want behind center with 2 minutes left, down 4. It blows me away that how many game-winning drives he had last season. But how many pick sixes did he throw last season, Tyler?
He threw like 6 pick sixes.
Which is way above the norm.
Yeah.
But you also saw it happen in the K-State game where he sailed a pass and it bounced right off the chest plate of the K-State defender behind it, who had a lot of green in front of him. You never know how it's going to go, but it's wet.
He sure did. Thank God he dropped it.
Exactly.
See, and Jake, to your point, when we get an opportunity like that, we have to capitalize in order to stay in this game, to shock the FCS FBS world with a victory. I mean, we're going to have to capitalize. If something like that is gifted to us, we have to capitalize, or probably not going to end up on the winning side in this game.
Yeah. All right. And Tyler, I'm going to set you up for this one.
Sure.
If you were to get a transfer from the University of Iowa, what side of the ball would you want them on?
Oh, on defense. On defense.
Let's go.
I do not trust any of their offensive weapons, bro.
It's a joke that I've been running this since I saw this. And I mean, it is well known, at least in our Discord group, with USD running a D end from University of Iowa and Caden Crawford, who is a name that I have been hearing a lot out of camp. Can't wait to see what he does. But then also one of our D tackles in Jeff Bowie, who, again, comes from the University of Iowa. I mean, you can't ask them to open up their USD career against a better opponent.
That's some deja vu or something there. That's all sorts of weird. Good stuff. Hey, speaking of that, you guys are talking defense. How about Coach Billy Kirch for us? It'll be his first game as defensive coordinator. Obviously, Travis Johansson getting the promotion to head coach. And these two guys, defensive minds, they've had a long time I mean, months and months to come up with something to stop this Iowa State defense. And so I'm really curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And just to remind you too, Mitch, I mean, he did run as a defensive coordinator for Northwestern out of Orange City.
Right.
And yes, I mean, they've had months and months to prepare for Iowa State, but this goes back so much farther, as you guys remember when we had Coach Kirch on for an interview. Johansson and Kirch, Tyler, just so you're aware, went to college together, actually.
Oh, okay.
And these guys, I'd call them best friends, but they were both defensive coordinators, one at Northwestern in Orange City, and then you got, obviously, Johansson at USD. And they spent countless nights breaking down each other's opponents together. And so that's where I have confidence in what this defense can do and match what it's done the last 2 years, because we just got a Johansson clone who's a little more bald. That's about it.
It's going to be really interesting, that's for sure. And not just in this game, but just as the season goes too.
All right, Tyler. So I'll set you up with this one now too. On the offensive side of the ball, besides Rocco, who should the Coyote fans watch for?
I'd say watch for Benjamin Bramer. He is going to be lined up everywhere on the field. I think that's going to be the X factor in this game. I think he's going to have a lot of targets. Probably, he's probably going to be the one Rocco is going to be looking for, besides the receivers. But yeah, watch for him to be a guy that emerges this game.
Perfect. Well, do you have anything else you want to cover from Iowa State's offense, Tyler?
Yes. So obviously, like I said earlier, you guys said you guys are very excited about all the defense. One thing that I do hope to see from the offensive line is consistency, because they were struggling last week and they allowed 4 sacks in the first half. So I'm hoping that that was just only because it was first game jitters, because that could possibly be an issue. Hopefully the Trevor Bohr injury wasn't something worse than what we thought. So he should be returning, but hopefully the guy that's in there for him, who I believe is not Jim Boniface, Brennan Black. He usually plays center, but he went over to guard. So I hope that is not an issue in this game.
And that one surprised me too with that, because wasn't Brendan Black a very solid right guard?
He was.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because he was so used to playing center that then when he came over there, he was like, oh, dang. So maybe he felt that, but then he got the hang of it once he got into the second half and further later on in the game.
And, I'll touch on that a little more. There weren't any, if I remember correctly, there weren't any sacks in the second half. But it did seem like Iowa State, on the run offense at least, was really utilizing the right side of their O-line.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that's what I saw. So that's definitely something to watch. It definitely shows that Mauser has confidence in the right side and what they have compared to the left. We'll see if it's something USD can figure out on how to stop then.
We'll see.
Exactly. All right. I'm good. I mean, I could keep going. We could literally go player by player if we wanted, Tyler.
Yeah.
And I could argue both sides with us, but it's going to be fun. It's going to come down to Yotes causing a little bit of chaos and getting lucky on a bounce or two. That's, going to be the factor that really tells us the game. If both teams play their cleanest, I'm really nervous for what the Yotes could do, but chaos breeds in the college football.
Sure does.
I want to say too, Jake, just one last thing in this kind of preview is you think back to the Wisconsin game last year, and we got punched in the mouth right off the bat. And I think we're down 14-0, maybe. Is that what it was?
Yes.
If that, and that you saw the Yotes battle back, and they really were tested. And so I look at this game, let's say Iowa State does punch us first. They get that first punch and go down, score a touchdown. Say it's on the opening drive or whatever. How do we respond? How does the team respond? Because they're going to be put, like I said, they're going to be put in conflict, and there's going to be things that happen in this game. But if Iowa State jumps out first, how do we respond? And last year we did a real nice job in Wisconsin, so I'm just curious to see if it goes that way initially to start the game. That how does this team, do they lose their composure? Is the crowd going nuts? What does that look like? And then how do they fight back? And last year, team did a really nice job, and they showed us a lot in that game, Jake. They gave us a lot of confidence the rest of the way, and we all know how that season turned out. So I'm just curious to see how that goes here. But hey, if we can get the first punch in, that's even better. But just curious to see that as well.
I mean, obviously you can't do this, but you take out that first quarter of the Wisconsin game last season, and USD ties Wisconsin in the next 3 quarters.
Yeah,
so
we fell in a hole, and that was the difference.
That was the difference. And I mean, like I said, you can't really take that into consideration. You got to play the whole game as it goes. Yep. But we had some foolish mistakes. Bad punt set them up for an easy, short field on their second touchdown. We assisted with some personal fouls, late hits, stuff like that.
Penalties, no dumb penalties, unnecessary stuff. Just we have to stay composed and focused and not do anything silly.
Exactly. But I'm excited. This one's gonna be a blast. I can't wait to, kind of, I don't know, feel like I'm sharing both sides of the family here on this. Growing up an Iowa State fan, hell, I was born in Ames, Iowa. Like,
oh wow,
it's definitely it's a meshing of two worlds for me. I couldn't be more excited for this game.
That's awesome. All right, let's jump to lines real quick here. Yote fan gave us ESPN showing plus 16.5. I've got a couple other ones up here on the screen. Vegas opened at obviously I would date minus 15.5 here. Reddit FCS, we follow those guys pretty closely on X. They had ISU minus 19. I also ran the Massey simulation. Massey likes Iowa State 34-14 or minus 20 there. So keep that in mind, but we've already made our picks, and we're going to jump to that here in a second. But that's those are your kind of national lines that are out there. Now, that Vegas one's moved a little bit. I think it was down to like 14.5 at one point. I guess I haven't looked recently.
Yeah. Probably some Iowa State players betting on it.
Stop. No, I think I do think like a lot of people are buying into, because one of my favorite national podcasts to listen to is a Solid Verbal. One of the things they call is the letdown look ahead. This is a classic letdown spot for Iowa State, because now you're in the middle between Farmageddon, and then a week after this you have the Hawks at home. So this is a huge letdown spot for Iowa State. And like you said, you guys are wondering. I'm wondering how they're going to respond. This coming off a huge emotional spot in Ireland, and now
a big
playing
trip.
in front of a big trip, big win over a conference opponent, 1-0. But hey, now you got to go back and regroup and play a very, very good FCS team. So I'm interested to see how the clones are going to respond to this, and I know that the coaching staff, Matt Kemp, has the utmost respect for his opponents, and he even said himself that, hey, we can't take this game lightly. This is a very, very good team. That you guys were in the Final Four last year in the FCS. So like we would, as Iowa State fans. In the past, we've lost to FCS teams. We've lost to Northern Iowa in the past. We've lost to North Dakota State in the past. So, like, I'm not taking this game lightly. Like, I'm taking this as a game we got to take care of business. If we jump ahead early, we got it. But
Coach Campbell made a comment about that trip this week, and he mentioned it would take up to a month to recover, which I thought was a little bit crazy, maybe a little over dramatic on his part. But nonetheless, I wouldn't mind if Iowa State came out a little sleepy in that first quarter and maybe woke up sometime in the second half.
Let's hope not, man. I'm gonna be a nervous wreck.
Hey, you know what? Tyler, we've been Iowa State fans long enough. We fully understand what a nervous wreck Iowa State can create for you. So
you're absolutely right.
I'm hoping on it. This one, I'm actually praying for the Iowa State fans being a nervous wreck. You bring it up in that trip. If you could write the definition of a trap game, I think you just use these next 3 weeks for Iowa State as the example.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you could make it sound any more trappy. You got a ranked conference opponent in Dublin, which the Iowa State players stayed away from the Guinness, unlike you, Tyler. But then you got Iowa coming into it, who's your biggest rival, and in my opinion, Iowa State's on the verge of completely overtaking them now, and in my opinion, rewriting the history part of it. It's such an easy game to overlook.
Oh yeah, yes.
The only thing that would make this one more fun is if Karan Adams didn't transfer out from USC.
Oh baby,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All
right, let's go ahead and throw these picks up on the screen so we can get Coyote fans. And hey, I know, Tyler, you got a heck of a following. You shared this, so if there's any Cyclone fans, feel free to throw those comments, your predictions in the chat.
Yeah, we're just at a little over an hour mark here, so yeah, if you're hanging out, whether you're Cyclone fan or Yote fan, put it in the comments, and we'll get it up here on the screen. Appreciate you for tuning in here for the full hour, or if it's been 5 minutes, we appreciate you either way. But Grant's not here tonight with us, so I'm going to go ahead and throw his up on the screen.
Yep. And while you throw his up, I'm going to pull up his message he sent to us so we can make sure that it is known that he did have a Yotes can win if situation. So
yeah, go
ahead. Grant says Yotes can win if USD can establish the run game early, which is a talking point we've already hit, and if they can hold the turnover margin to +2 or better. So
yeah, gotta have something.
Exactly, and I don't think he's far off on those. But yeah, first prediction, it looks like we got Grant calling out 28-13. 2-possession game, really. You really can't be upset with that. Depends on where you're getting the spread from. That's covering the spread.
I'd say he's about right in line with those spreads. So exactly. I'm gonna go next here.
Yeah, go for it.
For me, I've talked about it, I brought it up a couple times on this show and in previous episodes, but that offensive line for me, nothing against our guys, but there's just some question marks there, and I've got to see them play together. And this being the first game of the season, haven't had a chance to iron out some of those kinks yet. Like last year, we had that Northern State tune-up before Wisconsin. Didn't like that game as far as how that impacted our playoffs, but it would have been nice to have any game before this one with those guys. And so with that being said, I'm going Iowa State as well, 31-17.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, I mean, what I wouldn't give to be able to put our Drake game that we have scheduled in front of Iowa State.
Yeah, or even Northern Colorado. Take your pick there.
Exactly. All right, on to the next one. So for me, I don't know, Tyler, do you follow Alex Gukin on Twitter?
I do follow Alex Gukin, yeah.
All right, so you saw how close he was to hitting that exact score prediction against K-State?
Yep.
What, half-yard line away from hitting it?
A half-yard line away, yeah.
I'm taking the Gukin score prediction on this one. I'm going 31-21.
Gotcha.
Iowa State, 31-21.
Mm-hmm. So
hey, I don't mean to cut you off, Tyler, but that's pretty respectful for a score. I mean, Jake, to call that 10 points, I mean, that's respectable.
And who knows what that actually looks like? Is that a 10 points where Iowa State went down and kicked a field goal or scored a touchdown with 5 minutes left towards the end of the game, and we have the typical Iowa State fans sweating out the game? Or is it USD scored a late touchdown? It's definitely going to be a closer game than what everybody feels comfortable with.
And that there's no moral victories.
How do we get there is the question.
And Coach Johansson said it, we're going there to win. Anything less than that's, not considered a success. So,
exactly.
But I tell you what, to walk away with that score from a fan's perspective, we would be proud alums with that one.
Exactly.
All right, Tyler, it's all you.
All right. So for me, I think that we will be able to cause a few turnovers on defense, be able to get a few short fields. I think the tight ends are going to be involved in this game. I think we see Benjamin Bramer have a really good game. And I see Carson Rocco throw for 2 touchdowns, and I think Carson Hansen will go for 2 and the field goal. So I have us the Cyclones winning 31-14.
Yep. Which
So
I
we're
mean,
all, you notice a trend here. We're all pretty close in terms
well,
of what
actually,
we
we all
think.
predicted 31. That's in the show, which is pretty
And
funny.
yeah, I mean, and we didn't talk about this beforehand either.
Nope.
No, we did
And
not.
we're all thinking, about the same thing here. So it
Exactly.
might be different ways to skin a cat and how it kind of shakes out. But as far as what we think the total score is going to be, we're all about that same headspace.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to it. If the opportunity is presented on either side, especially with Rocco, he can get a little make Iowa State fans uncomfortable with the ball. If RJ Stewart or Mikey Munn have the opportunity, they're two of the fastest guys on the field for USD on the defensive side. You could see him turn that around and turn it into a pick six very quickly.
And that could change the complexion of that game. Same thing for us. We have Tez, we have Trey Bell, we have those guys on defense, and then you also have, maybe Eskelson or running something, or maybe Dom Overby has a few run and somebody pops off, or maybe Carson Hansen pops off a huge run. So we never know.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and you know what? I think at the end of the day, the best part about all of this, we are done imagining. We are
finally.
Yes, it's finally here.
Oh, quiet, Tyler. You got a game last week.
Spoiled with that week 0 game, especially
exactly.
And you were there, man. What a treat. Yote fan coming in here. Obviously Yote fan, the OG of our show, coming in here. He's you can tell he listens to the show about the same as us, 33-20.
Yep.
And that does hurt. I hear you, Yote fan. That does hurt.
Yeah, I get it. It hurts. It's hard to admit, but you also got to realize too, we are going into, in my opinion, Iowa State is probably top 15. Wouldn't you agree, Tyler?
Yeah, they're
if
top
they
15.
Were to release, if they were to release a poll, I bet they'd be top 15 now. But at the end of the day, how often does an FBS opponent go into a top 15's stadium and win?
It's tough to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely, it's a tough battle to climb. USD has all the intangible opportunities going for them as a trap game. But, I mean, Campbell didn't even get off the field in Dublin before he mentioned the South Dakota game. So,
right.
It'll be very interesting to see how it all shakes out. I'm
excited.
And
we will be football. There. You and I will be there.
Yep. And I am going to do everything I can to say hi to every Coyote fan that's there. Like I said, I believe the parking section that I am in is called 85E. I will be working my way through the tailgates down to the USD tailgate on the south side of it. If you see me, stop me, say what's up. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with any Coyote fan or friendly Iowa State fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa State fans, show them a good time. We have one of the best tailgating atmospheres in the nation. So,
can't wait to see that, because I've heard a bunch of good things about the Iowa State tailgate, that flavor and what they do for tailgating, and also just their fans in general are awesome fans. There's no animosity between these two schools or fan bases. I saw some Iowa State guys on Twitter, making comments about not really even knowing if USD has fans because they're not hearing anything on Twitter from us. And I would say they're probably just not looking in the right spots. But we're small but mighty. I'll say that.
Exactly. And I want to add, because yes, I've been involved in the tailgate situations probably a little too much. Heck, I had my 21st birthday in the Haunted Forest tailgate lots.
No, baby.
I will say this though, Coyote fans, take notes on everything that you see at Iowa State. The tailgate atmosphere is top notch. The friendliness, the acceptance, they don't care what shirt you're wearing when you walk up to tailgate. They're gonna hand you a beer. They're gonna hand you a Busch Light, even.
I say Busch Light for sure,
and say welcome, thanks for coming. And then they will not sit down once they're in the stadium.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm excited to experience the whole thing, like you said, from the tailgate to the fans, to the game. Everything's gonna be it's gonna be a fantastic day, and weather's gonna be real good too.
Perfect. Well, Tyler, do you have anything that you'd like to add to this?
No, it should be a fun Saturday. I wish I was there. We will meet at some point in person, Jake. But
We got to get
all I
this
have to
figured out.
say, I know we got to get it figured out, man. I probably will be up in Sioux Falls soon, or if you come to another game this year. But all I have to say is just go Cyclones. So
Hey, and
There you
go
go.
Yotes.
Jake, go Yotes.